All right, let's get right into it. There is a radical idea taking hold across the US. It's this notion that property taxes shouldn't just be cut or frozen, but completely eliminated, wiped out. And you know what? This isn't just talk, it's actually happening right now. So that's the big question, right? Could your property tax bill actually go to zero? Well, in some states, there are laws on the books today that let homeowners pay nothing. And in others, there are serious proposals to get rid of the tax for everyone. So let's count down the top 10 states that are leading this incredible movement. We're going to kick things off with what I'm calling the groundswell states. These are the places where the idea of total elimination is just starting to bubble up. But believe me, it's gaining steam faster than anyone thought possible. And coming in at number 10 is Kansas. That's right, the Sunflower State. There's a new movement taking shape there, a real grassroots push to completely do away with property taxes. So what's really going on here? Well, you've got this Axe the Tax movement that's catching fire. You have homeowners packing town halls, and you've even got lawmakers introducing actual bills to abolish the tax. Now, Kansas isn't there yet, but the conversation is getting louder and louder every single year. All right, at number 9, we've got North Dakota. And this is where it gets really fascinating because this is a state that didn't just talk about it. They took the question of total elimination and put it directly to the people. And check this out. North Dakota is the only state in the country to put full property tax elimination on a statewide ballot for a public vote. And they didn't just do it once, they did it twice. Now, Measure 4 didn't pass in 2024, but tens of thousands of people voted yes, proving you can take this idea straight to the voters. Next up, sliding in at number 8, is Nebraska. While a lot of states were still just debating the idea, Nebraska went ahead and passed the single largest property tax cut in the state's entire history. And here's the thing. This wasn't some failed proposal. This was real legislation that is being put into action right now. And because Nebraska proved it could deliver such a massive tax cut, well, suddenly the idea of going all the way to zero doesn't seem so far-fetched anymore. Okay, let's move on to the next group because these states are different. They've already hit a major milestone. In these states, it's already the law of the land that certain homeowners, especially seniors, can get their property tax bill all the way down to zero. This isn't a proposal, it's a reality. At number 7, we've got Georgia. The Peach State figured out a really smart way to tackle this, especially for seniors. They went right after the single biggest chunk of the property tax bill. And here it is. If you're 65 or older in Georgia, the state completely wipes out the school tax portion of your bill. And that is a huge deal because we're talking about 60 to 70% of the entire bill just gone. And in a lot of counties, when you add in other exemptions, seniors end up paying absolutely nothing. Coming in at number 6 is South Carolina. Now, this state is really interesting because it gives people two very different but very powerful ways to get major relief. One for disabled residents and another for seniors. So let's break it down. If you're a resident who's 100% disabled, South Carolina doesn't just cut your taxes, it completely eliminates them. The bill just drops to zero. For seniors, the state gives a big exemption and it locks in your home's assessed value, which means your taxes can't go up. It's a really powerful 1-2 punch. All right, on to number 5, Alabama. And this is where things get pretty wild because for seniors in this state, property taxes have pretty much just disappeared. And that quote really says it all. The moment you turn 65 in Alabama, the state's portion of your property tax bill is gone. Then, a lot of counties tack on their own exemptions that wipe out the rest. So the bottom line is, in huge parts of the state, seniors truly pay zero. Okay, now we're entering a whole new level. These next states are champion states, go even further. Here, specific groups like veterans get full property tax elimination. I'm not talking about reductions or partial relief. I mean a true 100% $0 bill. And at number 4, we have Florida. Now, the Sunshine State doesn't just say they appreciate veterans, they actually put their money where their mouth is with one of the best benefits in the country. I mean, this is a life-changing benefit. If you're a veteran with a 100% disability rating from the VA, Florida completely erases your property tax bill. That's $4,000, $5,000, maybe $8,000 staying in your pocket every single year. But what really makes Florida stand out is that this benefit passes on to a surviving spouse for life. It's an incredible commitment. Now for number 3, and this might be the most underrated story in this entire movement, Oklahoma. It's quietly offering something almost no other state does, a true 100% property tax exemption for a huge number of everyday seniors. So what makes Oklahoma such a game changer? It's this income limit you see right here. Look, in most states, any kind of serious relief goes away if you make more than, say, $30,000 a year. But Oklahoma? They extend it all the way up to a household income of around $100,000. That makes paying zero a realistic goal for so many more people. And that brings us to our final two. Number 2 is the first state on our list to formally introduce a bill to wipe out property taxes for everybody. And number 1? Well, let's just say that state has come closer than any other major state to actually making it happen. And here it is, the final showdown. At number 2, you've got New Hampshire. They introduced a constitutional amendment to abolish property taxes. For a state that already has no income tax, that's just revolutionary. But at number 1 is Texas. Why? Because they have the financial firepower, an $18 billion surplus to actually do it. They've already passed a huge $100,000 homestead exemption, and they have a buy-down strategy to get rid of school taxes. The governor's on board, the voters are on board. Texas is the undisputed leader of this movement. So that's our countdown. But really, the most important question is, what does all this mean for you? Because whether your state was on this list or not, there are things you can and should be doing right now. Okay, here's your action plan. If you're in a groundswell state like Kansas or Nebraska, it's time to get involved. In a senior zero state like Alabama or Georgia, your next move is to call your county appraiser and see what you qualify for. If you're in Florida or Oklahoma, do not wait. Apply now. Those deadlines are no joke. In New Hampshire and Texas, keep a close watch on what's happening in your state legislature. And for everybody else, start by researching every single exemption your state already offers, and then let your representatives know you want more. And that leaves us with one final thought. You have to believe that what happens in Texas won't stay in Texas. If a state that massive actually succeeds in eliminating property taxes, the pressure on other states will be immense. They'll have to respond. So the real question isn't if another state will follow, but which one will be next.